Thank you very much, the Tigers. Team Liquid, our first ever lock-in champions, and I'm here with Jensen, the victorious mid laner, hoisting a trophy in January, man. What's that feel like? Normally we make you wait a few months before you can call yourself a champion.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty early, but we'll take it. I mean it obviously feels good to win, but that was a little too close for comfort, I'd say. But yeah, I'm really happy we got the win in the end.
Okay, you mentioned too close for comfort. C9 really made you work for it after a hot start. It was 2-0. We were there on the precipice of the reverse sweep, just as Cloud9 had achieved in the semifinals. Were you feeling the pressure? How'd you guys ultimately deal with it there in Game 5?
I mean, honestly, I felt like we were playing better than them. Game 1 and Game 2, it felt like we kind of stumped them and had their numbers. But then I think we had some hard drafts to play, and then we also made a lot of individual mistakes, which just snowballed the game in their favor. And yeah, like I think it kind of just came down to us playing better, to be honest, because like I said, I felt like we were playing better than them, but in the games we just messed up too much, and they had some good plays.
Just real quick, as I had noticed a couple things across my timeline on Twitter moments after the game, your coach, Jat, tweeted out that it took him, he was sad to say it took him 5 games to realize ultimately it was Udyr difference. I mean, did it really come down to that? Was that a conversation going into Game 5? Like, we just got to get the Udyr, or what?
Yeah, pretty much. So the game before, I think we prioritized the Talia over the Udyr. And then we kind of just realized, like, Udyr is just, he's too strong at fighting, and it's also Jat's favorite champion, so maybe that played a bit of a factor in taking it. But yeah, it was kind of Udyr diff in the end.
Yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky it's a strong champion. Otherwise, he'd be inting those drafts for you.
For sure.
Now, whether you like it or not, there has been this conversation happening with Bjergsen exiting the league and Perkz entering it around who would ultimately be the best mid laner in North America. I'm curious, following this series, do you feel like you kick off the year as the definitive best?
I mean, I personally felt that way before the tournament started, so yeah. I hope this tournament solidified it.
Well, I love to hear that. But I think the follow-up question there is what it might mean, though, to have a player like Perkz enter the league. Because let's not mince words. You and Bjergsen, in some senses, longtime rivals, having high-caliber players to push each other to greatness, I think, is an important thing. Do you actually see it as an advantage to be pulling in top talent like this for you to continue to compete against and ultimately to best?
I mean, for sure. I think if there's a lot of competition in the league, I think it's overall good for me and just for everyone, right? So we have a competitive region, but I think the loss of Bjergsen might actually be bigger than what we've gained in terms of mid lane talent this year, at least. Because I think just from like all the mid laners in the league right now, I think I always felt like I learned more from just playing against him compared to what I've learned so far this year.
Fair. Very fair, very fair. Now, this is a huge kickoff to the year, obviously, getting the tournament title and just having the momentum moving into this split. But it's only the beginning. And so how are you looking at the rest of the season? Because you already have this accolade. You're already expected in some senses now to be the top team. For you, Jensen, how do you compartmentalize the progress and the length of the season that is still ahead of you?
Yeah, I mean, the season is super long, right? So we just need to keep focusing on our growth as a team and how we play together. I think, so far we haven't had a lot of time to play together, but, in the end, the long-term goal is international play, right? So we just really need to be in good shape for that. Obviously, we need to think about, teams like C9, 100 Thieves, and C9, 100 Thieves, and TSM, yeah, maybe. But ultimately, I think I'm thinking more at the bigger picture. I'm not too worried about NA. I think as long as we play really well, I think we will for sure be the best team here.
You've in some senses stolen the next question from my lips in your answer there, because I was going to ask you, now that you've had your first look at all of the remaining teams, who you see as the top competition. So do you isolate it to those 3? What was it, C9, TSM, and forgive me on the final one, if there was?
100 Thieves.
100 Thieves, yes, correct. Is that kind of where you think the top echelon of LCS will be?
Yeah, I think so right now. I mean, you could make a case for EG as well, right? But I don't think they had the best showing. But they're definitely a team that has potential. But we'll have to see. I think right now, 100 Thieves is the one I'm looking at the most. We just beat C9, right? It was a close series, but
Yeah.
I believe we lost to 100 Thieves in the tournament previously. So that could be one.
Lost in group stage. The one notable thing I will mention there, just for the fans at home, is that was before Santorin had joined the lineup. So yet to play 100 Thieves with your full starting roster. My final question to you actually comes as a result of some of the conversation I heard on the desk right before this. Kobe letting the world know that he hopes this is not TL's peak, right? He was like, no, we still got international competition. Don't start talking about peak play in January. But you are a person, and Team Liquid as an organization has been in this position before. I'm talking in the 4-peat era of TL, where, again, there wasn't much domestic competition. You seemed to stomp the whole field, and so everyone had eyes on international. What did you learn in those previous iterations of TL, where you were so dominant regionally and yet didn't achieve everything you wanted to achieve internationally? What have you learned from there that you hope to apply this time around to find more success in 2021?
It's hard to really say, because what did we learn? I mean, I think we just learned that you have to be really flexible and ready for anything, really, because when you go to international tournaments, a lot of things are going to change when it comes to the meta and playstyle in general. So I think the biggest thing for us, we just need to be ready for anything and just be as flexible as possible.
Beautiful. Well, Jensen, once again, congratulations on the victory. Thank you for giving us a full 5-game series, a hard-fought one at that. It was exciting, to say the least, and the best way to kick off a lock-in tournament. From here, we're handing it back to the analyst desk for the Bud Light breakdown. Jensen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.